I walked outside one day and a man was standing there. He had a great big beard and lots of hair. He said, won't you come down to the shore and join my jolly crew? We'll wander around the world beneath the skies of blue. We'll sail upon the seven seas, travel near and far. Take from the rich and give to the poor and say har, 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 har.
Boat Lab Part 3, or Episode 3, if you call this a soap opera instead of a how-to. What we did for Part 3 is that we worked on the keel. We bought materials, and the plans call for 14-foot long materials. If you go to Home Depot or Lowe's in Florida and ask for 14 long pieces, you either get laughed at or they show you the door. So we had to kind of alter the whole scheme of things and work with 12-foot pieces. That was okay on the layout, but that meant I had the joints in different places, and that really got to be a lot of fun when we were doing the middle piece, because that was turned into a major jigsaw. But once I got the pieces laid out and figured out, Mr. Custer did most of the cutting. Come on in and tell us about cutting.
Well, like you were saying, John laid out the 1x12s, 12 feet long, and we worked out where we're gonna cut them as far as the curves, because it's actually it ends up looking like a sea serpent, you know, just the keel by itself. It looks like something from Loch Ness, so that was right. We did that right.
Yeah, it kind of looked like the drawings, doesn't it?
Yeah, it had a real similarity to this thing. That was a good idea. So we had about 3 or 4 pieces for the neck part of it, the bow, and then we had the long run for the bottom, the keel, and then the very part for the stern, the aft part. And so what we did was we called for 14-foot lengths, but we had 12-foot lengths, so we sandwiched them together with the middle part sticking out farther on the one end. And then we made the difference up with some joint procedures, and we trimmed it, cut it, and then John here laid out the screws for it while we had it just dry put together.
We had a lot of screws.
We had a lot of screws.
Almost
yeah.
200.
Yeah, there were like
I think maybe only 100 was necessary, but we kind of got carried away.
Well, we used number 8 screws that are 1.5 inches long, so they wouldn't go all the way through, but they'd penetrate both the one side and the middle piece for the sandwiching. Then he got it all worked out while I was off at work doing my regular job during the weekday, and he also routed it, made sure it was all straight.
Yeah, I rounded the bottom corners so it would look kind of like rounded on the bottom, and went through a quart of Bondo.
Yeah, we went through a lot of Bondo.
And smoothed that all out, and then I notched it, and to do the notches I went out and bought extra long blades for my jigsaw so I could notch a 2 1/4 depth. So that worked out pretty well too. And once it was finally all together, I worked with the sander and the planer, and eventually I got bright and hooked up the shop vac to the sander, and that eliminated about a half hour's worth of vacuuming the floor.
Yeah, there was a lot of sawdust.
Yeah, my wife was rather dismayed at how much sawdust we generate right next to the house.
We filled up that bucket.
Yeah, we did. Filled it up a couple of times. When I head through the kitchen out to the garage, my wife says, "Are you going out to do sawdusting?" I said, "No, I'm going to go out and work on the boat, but I'll probably generate a lot of sawdust." Yeah. So that's become a family joke. You know, building a boat is sawdusting. That's a generic expression that includes everything you do for the boat.
When I was taking the screws apart, when we went from the dry lay to doing our adhesive, our glue lamp part of it,
yeah,
I had to sweep out the sawdust that was in between the planks. So we got that done too.
Yeah, I was surprised at how much I had on the dry fit, how much sawdust was in between the pieces. But we finally got it done, and it looks all right, and the next time we meet on video, we're going to be having some actual plywood pieces together.
That'll be fun.
So, see you next time.
Take from the rich and give to the poor and say har, 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 har. We'll sail upon the seven seas, travel near and far. Scurvy dog. Take from the rich and give to the poor and say har, 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 har.